This is your hint right now. You need to ask him. You need to ask her. Hey, what up with your best friend? They're gonna be like, oh, you been insecure, or whatever the case. No, 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 no. You're in the negotiation phases when you're courting and when you're actually engaged. You're in a negotiation phase. This isn't a sealed deal.
And I don't know how I feel about you being best friends with a single woman. Yeah. Women, if your man, your husband, has a friend that is a lady, is she modest? Modest in her dressing, modest in her behavior, modest in her character. Does she care about how she is represented?
This is an Iwebu production.
Period. Can your spouse be friends with the opposite sex? Can I have a guy best friend? Take your time.
Well, the only way that you could have been friends with the opposite sex is if y'all were already friends before we even, got together. Maybe you was from childhood. You guys had no intimacy ever before. Okay. Then yeah, this is like my best friend. Yes, definitely. But he would also have to be my friend. Okay. Me and him actually almost had to get closer than what you got than what you guys are as far as that goes. So yeah, I'm not really too big on opposite sex relationships like that. Yeah. Especially if the person is not really close friends with the spouse. Yeah, if that does not odd. It's gonna be simply odd. You spending a lot of time talking on the phone, like, especially because here's the thing, a lot of times me and like our best friend, our best homie, whatever, we may talk about just some of the marriage stuff. And we might not go too deep or anything like that. Or you could. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, you and let's say if it was me or whatever, and it's a lady, right? Now we're talking about different things that we should probably be diving in deeper with our spouse about. Absolutely. And now she's giving me responses that I wish that you would have said. My God. And now I'm starting, and all of a sudden the enemy just has this little pocket. Like I said, he just does a little bitty. Like you just don't really know what he's doing before full-fledged you in a whole different deal. And so I know of probably only one person actually that has a woman best friend and he's married. That's the only person that I know, but I believe it's since childhood, and also they are very close with the wife there too. So yeah, for me it's definitely a no. Yeah. And I think definitely have people to try to be friends or whatever, but that's a whole nother situation. But I spin it back to you. Can I have a lady friend?
Why would you ask like that? That was romantic. How you even asked?
I'm just messing with her, y'all. Just messing with her.
Hell no. So I don't even think. Okay, this is when people probably think I'm crazy. I don't care how long you've been friends with her. If she's not trying to be friends with me, and it's kind of a little shaky if she's single as well. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about you being best friends with a single woman. I don't know. It's just something. Why you single? Yeah. Like what's going on? Yeah. It's just so much to dive into. So here's a few things. I always say, especially for men, in my opinion, guys, I don't know too many men that have like a best friend. Now, I know there is some, but I have not seen a man that has a friend that is a woman that they don't find attractive.
So you said none?
No. I said, wait.
I'm sorry.
I'm saying I don't know anyone, a man that has a best female friend or whatever, that he's like, oh, she ugly to me. She's typically an attractive woman. She's typically, unfortunately, sometimes in better shape than their wives, and better, keeping themselves up a little more. And that's, I don't know, it's just dangerous to me. And another thing is, especially if they're single, like I have a problem with men having best friends that are single women and they're a husband. That's odd to me. Like, and again, if they are, they gotta be locked in with the wives. If you ain't clicking with the wife, if you don't like the wife, something wrong with that picture. Like, why?
Can't be up on the
why
phone.
Why don't the wife like you? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't y'all click? What is it that the wife ain't vibing about you? What is it? And so I don't know. I think it's just so dangerous. And then I know me, like Namdi said, if you are my friend, I am talking to you a little bit about everything. Like, man, I just wish Namdi would take this trash out a little more often. Man, shoot, that was something I always did. My daddy taught me how to da-da-da. You know, and it's like, dang, man, so he take out the trash. You know, like, you begin to compare subconsciously. And this is the thing, like, it might not sound that deep. The thing is, I always say this, and we talk about this, being friends with your spouse is like vital. Yes. It is literally, it's breath into the lungs of the relationship. And so when you're not friends with your spouse, that's how you grow out of like with them. That's how they kind of get on your nerves a little bit more. You forget like, dang, this is my dude. Like, me and Namdi were friends before we ever were romantic. And so if I have a dude like this who's an attractive guy and we locked in as friends, like, I don't know, the sexiest thing to me is that you are my friend. The sexiest thing to me is that you can make me laugh and I get to go home and do whatever I want to do to you. Okay, like, that's my homie and my man. And so I don't know, it's a little dangerous to me to have a friend that's the opposite sex. And listen, they might be like, okay, y'all be doing the most. Y'all say no to everything.
No, hey, it's just because you have to. You gotta guard your marriage. And really, to be honest with you, you should be having this conversation before y'all even get married. Like, you know, somebody is listening to this right now. You're dating or you're even engaged to somebody who has maybe, you know, opposite sex, a best friend or a friend that's pretty close. And if you feel like something, like, I need to check on that. Yeah. Listen, check on ask the question.
Yeah, all of them.
Like, hey, did y'all ever even have like a close moment? Anything like that?
That's important too. Yeah. Because even if you've never had sex or you've never crossed that line, was there ever weird moments when y'all got drunk together? Yeah. When y'all was drinking a little too much, was there ever a little flirt? Did a little something never come out before? Like, ever? Has there ever been a moment that y'all have crossed the line mentally? Yeah. Have you ever crossed that line mentally? Have you ever thought of your friend and been like, dang, I wonder what it's like to da-da-da. If you have, cut that thing off.
Really. And
cut that thing off.
That's why I think the questions got to come flowing. Like, somebody, again, you're looking at this. This is your hint right now. Yes, you listening to me right now. You need to ask him. You need to ask her, hey, what up with your best friend? You know, even if you feel like they're going to be like, oh, you being insecure or whatever the case. No. You're in the negotiation phases when you're courting and when you're actually engaged. You're in a negotiation phase. This isn't a sealed deal.
And that's why it's so important to not do permanent things in that season.
Come on.
It's so important to not cross. I know we say this all the time. Y'all probably like, gosh, Lee, but it's so important to not cross the line of intimacy. Yeah. It's so important to not move in together. It's so important to not get those bills together. You better negotiate. You better. Okay. And I was even thinking like, okay, so even if let's say y'all do have an opposite friend, it's clear, it's clean. Is that opposite friend, are they gonna, opposite sex, is she gonna be okay now being second? Yeah. You can't talk after 8 o'clock.
Come on.
You can't, y'all not going to the bar together. Y'all not going bowling together. If y'all are, it's me, you, and her. Like, will she be okay with that? Can she be around me? And this is another layer to it. Women, and I have to throw this in, babe, really quick.
Very good.
Women, if your man, your husband, has a friend that is a lady, is she modest? Modest in her dressing, modest in her behavior, modest in her character. Does she care about how she is represented? Does she care about how she presents herself around your husband? Ooh. Is she doing a lot when he's around? You know, like, just paying attention to those little signs, because even if they've never crossed the line, they've never had a moment, you can pay attention to how a woman, this is how I am. Even when I bring women around you, when Namdi enters the room, I pay attention to how my friends move when you come around. Are they extra like, hey Namdi, you know, does it get a little flirtatious? Do they shoulders move and they breasts move a little bit? Do they hips start swaying? Do they talk a little bit sweeter? Do they dress a little bit? Like, I'm paying attention. And I have to shout out somebody real quick right now. Okay. Shout out to Francesca in this moment. Listen, Francesca, the first time we hung out, I think it was our first time. We went to a park. And she had on like leggings and t-shirt, little mom outfit. And she brought, I think she was dog sitting her sister or her friend's dog. I can't remember. We took our kids to the park. And for some reason we came back to my house. I don't know if we had lunch or what we were doing. But on the way, I think it was on the way to my house, she called me and she was like, oh, is your husband there? And I was like, yeah, he's working. She's like, dang it, I got on these leggings. And I was like,
respect.
You my type of woman.
Yeah, respect.
She was like, I got on these leggings. Straight maybe go get a coat or a blanket or something that she wrapped around herself. Or I think I might have told her she was good because you were working and you didn't come downstairs anyways. But those are the type of women that you want to be like, oh, is your man gonna be there? Because even if I'm like, for instance, I think I'm a pretty decent, modest woman. Probably not modest to some people, but you know, I've grown, baby. People. You're
pretty modest.
No,
I mean, some of those.
Some people don't want me wearing. Remember when I posted that picture for Bizzle and I had on
a regular t-shirt.
I had on a t-shirt and they told me I looked like a video vixen. Yeah. Crazy. But having women that are paying attention to what they are dressing like. I pay attention to how women dress around men and how they behave around men. So I had to throw that in as well because they might not have none of those other signs of like they've ever kissed, they ever had a hot moment that they fell in love and when they was kids and now that. But is she modest? And men, you too, like pay attention to men because men can be immodest. T-shirts and doing the most, trying to show their chest off, rubbing their beard. If I ever have met a husband first, I don't care if I just met the wife. I am starting to speak to her first now. I'm starting to be like, hey girl, how you doing or whatever. So just being mindful of how the opposite sex, if you don't have none of those other signs, how are they behaving around your spouse? And I got to get to the modest thing that is a big deal for me. Doing the most around my man will get you cut out.
No,
point blank period.
Yeah,
it will get you cut out. I don't play none of that. Like you doing the most. Why you ain't got no panties on? Why you ain't got no bra on? Why you wearing that? Like
I can't really think of a time that you had anybody really around. If you thought they were gonna be like that, they never really got around.
They never came around.
Yeah,
you never met them.
So they never got to me or whatever. So I mean, just that was something that we wanted to kind of answer from that we saw there that came up is can your spouse have friends with the opposite sex? I don't know.
And then I just want to say this. Be mindful also. Just my last thing. I'm sorry, babe. Just be mindful if you are emotionally cheating through your best friend. So all the things that maybe your husband or wife isn't giving you, just make sure you don't have more of an emotional tie with that person. Again, if you got it, when you get married, best friend is number 2. It's probably like number 5 because they come after your kids too. Like just prioritize, make sure they are being very mindful to be engaged with your spouse, but just be mindful of those things.
Be very mindful. So can your spouse have friends with the opposite sex? I mean, what do y'all think, man? Hey, drop some comments below. We want to kind of get some interaction. What do you think about this subject? Hey, thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you could do us a huge favor, please hit that like button and please subscribe.
Yes, and please do not forget to hit that notification bell. We need y'all to be locked in every single time we drop this fire content. Yeah. Also, we need y'all to follow us on all social media platforms at the Ewables. And look, we will see y'all on the next video.
Holla.